First of all, as a team leader, I am an advocate for the SDGs. I have been able to attend different forums on sustainable development goals. I have been able to also represent the youth of Kenya in the Youth Summit, which was done in the UK, to talk about the SDGs and young people's involvement in making sure that we achieve the sustainable development goals. Also at my placement, we work on areas of some aspects of the SDGs, and through the activities that we have on the ground, we tend to work by trying to showcase that at least as young people we are taking action to implement the SDGs.
It is the best time where you can utilize your Active Citizenship Day during the team meetings. I would strongly recommend to you to bring out the issues like global issues that can be helpful to both national and international volunteers, where they can share their ideas and also challenge the ideas for the constructive solutions to the global issues.
Pues crear sesiones de ciudadanía global activa. Hay una sesión muy importante y que en lo personal me gusta, que se llama ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Esta sesión nos llega hasta la raíz de los problemas y cómo nosotros como ciudadanos podemos aportar, aunque sea un poquito, para mejorar la sociedad.
Get volunteers maybe in a session and let them talk about it. Presentations or in a discussion form really helps the learning process.
You have to be an avid researcher, whether you like it or not, because the ICS program in VSO, they're all about development. The work we do at the community is about development, and you just can't move in blindly. So this takes in a lot of research and a lot of reading, so that you can always be ready to answer any questions. And where you don't know and a question is presented to you, make sure you go and get clarification. It does not harm to say that I am not aware of that, but I will get more information. And
I did find that not everybody on placement had been exposed to things like the SDGs or international development before. And a really good starting point we found was a resource called the Active Citizenship Pack. So it's got a really great section in there on the SDGs. It's really manageable. It's kind of like there in bite-sized information. It's really accessible, like say for people with varying levels of exposure to ideas like that. And it was just a great place where we could go get that kind of like basic information, and then it also directs you to some other resources you can use as well. So yeah, we use that, and then it's really fantastic because volunteers could use that and then go on to do their own research and develop their own like ideas for the Active Citizenship Days. So yeah, definitely recommend using that. Another tip I would say, also try to bring the SDGs back to the project work that we were doing, just to make them seem relatable, so they're not kind of these abstract concepts. Try and like link them up, so you know, if you're doing a community action day on the value of girls' education, say this like relates to the SDG number 4 and 5, and you know, people can really feel like they're impacting on the SDGs in that way.
We did a really good guided learning right at the beginning, run by the team leaders, where we each volunteer researched one of the Sustainable Development Goals, and this gave us firstly an opportunity for the team to understand more about those goals, but also we could see where the interests of our volunteers lay within international development, and then this was something that we were then able to encourage them to learn more about through their own guided learnings.
Cada semana hay que darse un tiempo para hablar sobre ciudadanía global, y es importante que se creen espacios como debates para que los chicos puedan compartir sus diferentes puntos de vista y aprender unos de otros.
I think the main thing is just to do your research as a team leader beforehand. Try and think of some key points that the volunteers can focus on for learning sessions.
I think it's really important to adapt those sessions to what the volunteers want and feel like they need. And so they then started making up their own sessions, which was amazing. They got so much more out of it. I think one week we did like a pub quiz night, and it was all focused on women's rights, so we had like a women's rights pub quiz, so you can kind of make it a bit fun as well, so it's not seen as like a chore, and it's like something that's quite enjoyable.
For me, it was giving the volunteers who had particular passions to lead sessions on those areas. What we would do, so during our team meetings every week, a pair of volunteers would lead a session on, say, gender rights. They would be trying to make it as interactive as possible. It was really important that it wasn't just a lecture. and we would try and involve community members in that. So we'd take a global issue and we'd look at it kind of in the global, but then it would become very tangible to what we were seeing in the community.
Firstly, listen to your training. A lot of it was covered when I did it for ICS, and I learnt an awful lot just in those first few days. I would also recommend doing a bit of your own research and then having conversations with people when you get the chance to.
There's a great website called The World's Largest Lesson, and you can adapt lots of different sessions for your volunteers' needs, and there's just lots of learning.